Radio Smells Like Teen Spirit by Nirvana. A super famous guitar introduction with a... And not essentially hard to play, but there's a lot of muting going on, dampening of the strings, and that's probably the bit to get your head round. So it's going to use power chords, and when they're doing these power chords, normally you'd do them with just 2 fingers. But in this particular song, you're going to use 3 fingers to get a fuller sound. So the first one's an F power chord. Your first finger's on the 1st fret of the top string, the E string. And that's your 3rd finger on the 3rd fret of the A string. That's usually your power chord, just the 2 strings. And then to fill out the sound, you're going to use your 4th finger, the little finger, on the 3rd fret of the D string. And play all 3 strings. You're going to have the rhythm at the start. Down, up, down. The next part's a bit of dampening. So you take the pressure off the string. You can leave them on the same spot, but when you take the pressure off the string, you're not pushing down. It just has this sound, a dampening sound, chicka, chicka, and you're going to go down, up, down, up. When you put it together, we got... Then coming in to the next chord, you go down a string. This is a B flat power chord. So your first finger's on the 1st fret of the A string, and then the 3rd finger's on the 3rd fret of the D string, little finger's on the 3rd fret of the G string. So every finger's just down 1 string. Down, down, up. And then a couple of chuckers at the end. So taking the pressure off the string. And now when you're playing those power chords on the A string, that B flat, it's quite easy to get the E string, the open E string involved. And that's going to make a pretty horrible sound. So there's a couple of ways of dampening that string as well. We can actually use your 1st finger and chock that into the top string. So just lift it a little higher than you would, and that can touch it and it'll just mute it. Otherwise you can use your middle finger, which isn't being used, and that can just come across and lightly touch the top string, and that'll make that dampened. So you can actually just strum all down and you won't hear that top string. You're going to do exactly the same rhythm and idea, but on the 4th fret. So this is a G sharp or an A flat power chord, and then down a string to the D flat power chord. Down, take the pressure off, and then down a string, down, down, up, and then 2 chuckers. And you put it together from the start. You really want to strum as many strings as possible to get this kind of rhythmic idea. So it's dampening the strings. So it's really important to dampen that E string I was talking about. You can also mute the B and E string with a bit of your 1st fingers just touching that string. So in the end, you're actually only playing 3 strings and the rest are being muted. That way you can really get your right hand to strum and attack those strings. The rest of the song is pretty simple. There's a bass line covering those notes. 4 strums on each of the bass notes. So on the 1st fret of the E string, 1, and down string 1. On the E string 4, A string 4, E1, A1, E4, A4. And then underneath the bass note, is the guitar coming in with just notes on the first fret of the B string and then E string. So from the bass notes. 1, 2, 3, 4, 1. 1, 2, 3, 4, 1. So I'm just using my first finger to cover both strings. You could use 2 fingers if you wanted to, but it's quite easy just to push down the first finger and cover both the B and the E string with the first finger. Alright, that's how you play Smells Like Teen Spirit by Nirvana.